Congrats on the
I kept my info to go through here, so I'll build this one. That's the way it is now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So terrible. I sneeze when she sneezes.
Good evening and welcome to the regular board meeting on November 15th for the Lordsburg Municipal Schools. And we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the symbol for friendship among the United Nations. Just a reminder, all of the items on the agenda will be discussed tonight. First item is approval of the agenda.
No.
I'm sorry.
Maybe we could go on.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
Make that
Can
adjustment. and then-
we? There was a request to have
Discussion.
item A under discussion items moved up to under reports.
Yeah, so it'd be the first under the
It'll
report
be first
section.
under reports. Can I get, is there a motion to make this adjustment to the agenda?
I so move, Madam Chair.
May I get a second?
I'll set this.
Seconded by Mr. Barrera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez.
Yeah.
Okay, so next item is the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of October 18th, 2021. Is there any questions or comments?
And do we need to go back and approve the agenda as an?
Oh, yeah, I got what the motion I had gone through. So can we have an approval of the agenda with the adjustments made?
I so move, Madam Chair.
Mr. Morelos? And second. I'll second that motion. Mr. Escobar. Okay. Now approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of October 18th, 2021. Any questions or comments? There's no questions or comments. May I get a motion for the minutes as presented? I'll make that motion to approve the minutes of October 18th. Motion by Mrs. Esquivel,
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
seconded by Mr. Morelos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item is reports, and we'll begin with discussion item, Maverick Movement Program. Ms. Bumblehouse.
You're muted.
Oh, I muted. I still haven't gotten it right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me this evening. And thank you to Mr. Edgar Gomez for requesting that I attend the meeting, and for Dr. Lucas making the accommodation. So thank you, everyone. I was just there, I think it was last week, and we launched the Maverick Movement. And I know we were competing with a football game, but I was excited that we had a really great turnout. And Dr. Amador actually also invited me to speak at the Leadership Academy in Las Cruces yesterday morning, or that morning, on behalf of the Maverick Movement. So a little bit about what we are doing with the Maverick Movement. And I'm going to read some things here because I don't want to leave anything out. But the Maverick Movement was founded because I had a ton of people reach out asking for ideas or how I could potentially help. And I thought that the best way was to create an organization that would serve as a vehicle for the community. And I enlisted a few other individuals that have roots to Hidalgo County, Victoria Baisa, Casey Peterson, and Dr. Bianca Ramirez. So The Maverick movement is focused on 4 pillars of clean water, quality education, economic development, and community engagement. And the Maverick movement works to support the residents of Hidalgo County, New Mexico. Why did we create the Maverick movement? Well, as you all know, poverty is a vicious cycle, and in Hidalgo County, the numbers are pretty stark. Hidalgo County's poverty rate is roughly 24%, which is higher than the statewide rate of 18% and over twice the national poverty rate of 11%. So that's almost 1 in 4 citizens living under the poverty line in the county. And I don't think that I have to tell you the challenges that come when you're facing a community that's poverty stricken. So as it pertains to education, we believe that the Maverick movement's multi-pronged approach to community building will help support Hidalgo County residents. And with education, I'm here to ask all of you how we can be a partner with the Lordsburg schools and help find ways to get funding to supplement whatever it is that you're trying to do. I know that resources are always an issue and there's always a scarcity of them. So if there's something that the Maverick movement can do as a 501c3, we are able to apply for foundation money for any program. So if there's some initiatives that we can help support and partner with you on to improve whatever it is, please send those ideas my way, or our way, I should say. And we want to hear them. We are not here to tell you what needs to be fixed. We're here to listen and create the opportunities and the support that you need, that the community needs in order to have different opportunities and have a little bit more, I would say, access, if you will. And so I am here to certainly answer questions, but before I get to that, I want you to know that I did meet with Nurse Kimberly and Nurse Sarah, and they had asked if we could do a couple of things. So one was provide a questionnaire, and I need approval from the board, provide a questionnaire that could identify some supplemental needs for young women with feminine products at home. Period poverty is really a huge issue and affects young women in so many different aspects. So Nurse Kimberly asked if there was a way to submit a questionnaire that can be disseminated to the parents, to their families, and identify what those needs are. And the Maverick movement is going to provide whatever those needs are at the beginning of the year once we get the results back. The second is Nurse Kimberly asked if we could potentially put together a community health fair in partnership with the schools. I have already requested participation from the Hidalgo Health Council. They have basically every nonprofit in the community involved. And I just would like to know if that's something that we would be able to do and work with you and work with all the other nonprofits to make it successful and have, whatever works best with calendars. And I know that there's already curriculum. If it has to be after school, it's something that she wants to do in late April or early May, and then do it again in October to pair that with like a winter coat drive for families. So those are really the only ideas that have been presented to me so far. But I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm excited. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be in front of my community that I will always call home, and find a way to bring support in any way that we can. So that's really all I have. But if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Hi, Olivia. This is Edgar. Thank you for being here tonight. I did have a question. I did talk to Casey a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, and she said that you guys weren't yet a 501c3, but are in the process. So I just wanted to verify: are you guys currently?
Yeah, we've already submitted all of our paperwork. We were held up with some technical issues with the New Mexico Attorney General's office, but we've submitted the proper paperwork to the state of New Mexico and also to the IRS.
Perfect. Thank you. That was my question. I wanted to make a donation, and at the time, through my employer, it didn't really align so well with the whole 501c3. So I went ahead and went with the Western New Mexico Foundation, but definitely going to keep you guys there for next time.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. We are actually in the process of making the adjustment on the language on our social media page and our website. But yeah, we did have a little snag with some technical issues there. So that's all been taken care of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I want to thank you for your time. I welcome any questions or comments or feedback anytime. I'm so excited to be involved in my community, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great evening.
I have one little.
Oh, sure.
I have a couple too afterwards. Okay. Sorry. I was just waiting to see who was going to come in.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Mr. Moreno Sylvia.
Hi.
Just the black and white that you have there, all the statistics that you had, and who's on your program, the questionnaire, and anything that you get, so that we can have it. I'd like to have a hard copy of all that, so I can read it and study it, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to send along all of this information. I can send it to Mr. Cheney, and hopefully he can maybe get it over to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I just want, so I don't think we'll have any issues with the questionnaire or improving that or anything like that. I just wanted to elaborate on what the health fair was going to consist of.
So that's actually something that I'm going to put together with all the other nonprofit organizations of some ideas with the health fair, and then present it to you, to Ms. Chase, and make sure that this is what she had in mind, and then present it to the board. I wanted to just get the okay that this is something that the community would be interested in, the schools would be interested in participating in, or working with in conjunction with for the health fair. I can have, the plan is to have something, a kind of a program, if you will, by January, before you guys get going again for the semester. But welcome any ideas of what's needed. But she asked that it encompassed, participation from like HMS and other nonprofits, and what they might be able to provide for the health fair. I don't really have any other details as of right now, because it's just something that I wanted to ensure that there was an interest from the schools to do it in partnership. And if not, then maybe shift and do it independently in the community. But it is something that Ms. Chase had asked, because she believes that it's necessary, because it used to be something that happened and it stopped happening. I think it was because of COVID, if I remember correctly.
Olivia, it's Susie. So with the health fair, is there a way to encompass like the effects of bullying, not only physical, mental, and social, on how it impacts the one that is being bullied, so that kids can understand the effects of these items?
Yeah, I think that's something that I can certainly discuss and figure out how we can incorporate, whether it's, education or materials or presentation. So I can certainly talk to the health council, work with, the school board or the schools and Ms. Chase to see how it's best to present this, subject. And again, all of this will certainly be brought to the board for final sign off. Nothing will be done without the approval. We just want, Ms. Chase made it very clear that over the last, almost 2 years, it's been overwhelming with COVID. So we are willing to do all of the work and just have the sign off by her and by the school board.
Olivia, one thing that we used to do a couple of years ago prior to COVID was the teen maze. That was actually done, I believe, through Amanda Frost with Hidalgo Medical Services, and most recently with Irma Diaz. So I think one of the things that we did, just like Susie was talking, we targeted bullying along with other things. But at the end of that teen maze, there was a health portion that we included. And one of the things that I've always really advocated for has been hygiene, and maybe like bringing education to families about lies and things like that, things that are happening in our schools and so realistic, and just bring awareness and education. And I think I definitely think picking up like something from Teen Maze, it was very successful because it brings so many people, different nonprofits in the community working together, and it's because of COVID, I don't know what that would look like, but I think it was very fun, but at the same time, it was very educational for our students, and it was something that we invited actually other districts. I think San Simon, Wilcox, other people actually came, and Hidalgo County was the model for the state of New Mexico. So definitely, I think Amanda Frost, Irma Diaz would be some people to possibly get a hold of and maybe get some of those ideas. I know that HMS probably has all that material, those supplies that we utilized at some point to put the Teen Maze together. So just some ideas.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Yes, that is the plan. I am going to be working with HMS through the Hidalgo Health Council. We are a partner with the Hidalgo Health Council to discuss all of these ideas. I believe it's December 10th. So I'm happy to, if you want to send along anything, please do. But if not, I will bring this up to HMS when we do have our meeting on December the 10th. But yes, also personal hygiene has been flagged for me as well. It's something that it seems like it's a subject that people are interested in presenting at the health fair. So that is something that I have already on my list of ideas.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Lucas, on the questionnaire, we have our meeting in December. So does she need that before, or?
Well, we can't make a motion, but I mean, that's something we can do without, I mean, just as long as y'all are okay with it. We
Okay,
can
so
create a survey.
it doesn't need to be on the agenda then?
No.
Okay,
No, we can get that done and,
okay, so we can prove it today, if everybody agrees? It's actually just a discussion item.
yeah, it's just, but
So,
as long as, yeah, I'll just state that we will go forward with that
okay,
and do it.
I had one more, Olivia. We've kind of talked about off camera about pushing out information. Well, I guess reading some of the negative information out there. Can you hear me?
No, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I apologize.
We've talked about before kind of reading the negative information that's out there and putting more positive. I think Mr. A likes talking about that right now. Putting more positive information out there. Are you planning on putting out a newsletter or anything like that?
You know, that is something that we are hoping to put together. There's actually a few ideas. One is to have like every 2 weeks, maybe highlight faculty, staff, within the school system with all the positive work that they're doing. I know that there are so many people in the community that are doing really great things. So we do want to put something together where we're able to profile some work that people are doing in the community, but also report all the good things that are happening and focus and build on the positive. So if there is something that you would like for us to share, whether it's on our website or on our social media, or we can also send to people who have registered through our website, where we do have an email address. We plan to start doing that in a few weeks. But anything that you would like us to share in a newsletter, I think that the plan is to do it every couple of weeks. And we are happy to share that information.
That would be awesome. A nice change of pace for us down here. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I agree with you. I think that sometimes we're so focused on, and I think I want to kind of take a step back, and make sure that it's known that I am fully optimistic about our community. There are such good roots there. There are so many people doing great things in our community, and we need to build on that. And we're hoping to energize the community, because we know that there's so much good that still exists there, and we just want to help support that, and create a real sense, a stronger sense of community in some ways. I think that's why we also thought of Maverick being a part of our name, because we know that the Mavericks are such a point of pride in our community as well. So we wanted to make sure that we captured all the positive from our community. So thank you for noting that. Again, my email is on the website, but if for those of you that don't have it, it's just olivia@maverickmovement.org. And happy to have as much information that you want to share with me. I'm so excited to hear from all of you.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
Jonah, I just wanted to thank you, and I really appreciate your question to Olivia about, highlighting some of the things that go on in our schools, because Olivia, a lot of the times, Dr. Amador and I have had this conversation, and our out there, we don't really hear of them often, and I think we have amazing staff and we have great schools, and I will still continue to say this, that the schools are leading here in our community. So definitely appreciate that, in highlighting some of those efforts that our teachers and our leadership really are so loyal and put so much effort into our kids.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I can't say enough how coming from Lordsburg and attending the schools, just the privilege of going through the school system and all of the support, and without the education that I had, I don't believe that I would be where I am. So I know the hard work that people within the schools do on a daily basis, beyond just being teachers, beyond just being coaches, but being so much more. And there's so much gratitude there for all the work that they do. So thank you, everyone. And if, please don't hesitate to reach out to me if there's anything that we can do to help support or highlight all the great things in the community.
Is there any other questions or comments for Ms. Montalvo? Olivia, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Next item on the agenda is administrative reports. First item is cafeteria reports.
And Rex is not here, but if you have any questions or anything you want me to relay to him, he was not able to make it tonight. We have had some issues with staffing. We're fully staffed, but just with COVID and people being out. And no subs. We're working on getting subs, but between. So we have been very short staffed in the cafeteria for illness and COVID.
Pardon me.
Dr. Lucas, I've actually have received positive feedback in how the food is getting better. So I do appreciate those efforts. But definitely I encourage you to keep on Rex, to making sure, not just now that, because of the situation that staff is out, but just moving forward. Sometimes saving some money is not the best way to go when we're, when we need staff, more staff to operate efficiently.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Next item is operation report.
and any questions on the operations report?
No, I just had one. I would like to see a report from the nurse, if
Okay.
that's possible, just to get feedback on COVID cases, numbers of COVID cases. This information that we need to know, I know it's on the agenda for tonight, for upcoming quarantine procedures, but
Uh-huh.
it'll be helpful if we know like
The numbers.
the
and everything.
numbers where we're at.
Yeah, no, that's
you know,
a good idea.
So you
Yeah.
have her do that for us.
Yes. And also on there, we have put in the PO, starting on bond projects. Our first part will be doing the high school vestibule. So that should be getting started pretty soon.
And that's coming out of Newborn, right?
That's going to be going, yes.
I have one after that on the RBT paint status, what's going on, but I just see it there quite a bit and no bids on that one yet. I
Yeah.
don't get anybody there, but.
And I just have a comment. I really like the idea that there's gonna be the new district phone system that's gonna be put in place in all the classrooms. I think it's very essential in case there's an emergency. And
Right, so every teacher, every classroom has.
I think that's great. I really appreciate the efforts that went into getting that done. I've always thought it was essential. And I think they were in at one time and then a long time ago. And then
Mhm.
they-
On that bond, I know there was a survey done with other people involved in it, and they categorized like
Mhm.
what's important, what's important.
Right.
Can we revise that? I know we talked about.
Yeah, you
revising
can
it,
always revise.
Because I think safety of our children should be at least first or second. on the
Well, and
list.
that's the reason we're doing the high school first, is for the safety. Because
Yeah,
it'll secure the vestibule where nobody can drive through, and secure the entryway.
because I think, not to put anybody down or, whoever wants that auditorium done, but I think doing two projects out of that bond, I want to see more projects done with that one instead of doing the auditorium.
Yeah.
Can we revisit those list of priorities on the bond ones that we have?
Yeah, that can always be done.
I don't know if you guys want to eventually at some point.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Do you have a day in mind?
I think just if on the next,
Agenda.
yes, quarter meeting, if that's okay with everybody. And then I would like to have feedback from the principals too, to see what projects, and one project I had in mind was getting a canopy outside the DTMS in the front for like rainy days, sunny days, because
Right.
it's kind of difficult just for everybody to stand out there. So
Right,
that's
and
part
we'll
of-
have to get with and I'll get with them, but the bond people to make sure, what we have to do with the New Mexico Finance Authority, because it went through with those projects listed, what we can do to change that with the Finance Authority.
Okay,
Then they come back and say, well, that's not.
all right, well, if you can. think-
Dr. Lucas, one thing that I would ask if you could please look into is some type of playground / obstacle course for DTMS. Again, we have to remember that we have young kids out there, 5th and 6th graders, and we need something out there in that school as far as entertainment for them. So if you could also look into that, I agree with Alyssa's idea. I think maybe approaching this a different way.
Some of the ARP3 monies, it would consider it as an outdoor classroom, we can use that money for that.
Whether it's looking into bond money, looking at COVID money, whatever it is, I think there's a good window here to do something good for our kids, and remember that just remembering that we cannot forget RVT. RVT has the majority of our kids in this district. If you look at it in a business perspective, they bring the majority of the money for the district, and we need to make sure that school out there is taken care of.
Correct, but if you go back to that survey or to the deal, when it's showing dwindling population and eventually combining schools, RVT is the campus that would not continue, that would be moved over to DTMS Central. Because it is a newer building. Although that's in the future, but we also have to keep that in mind when we do look at upgrades to that campus.
No, I completely agree. But at this time, we're not doing that. If that's, what we're doing, then we need to move forward quickly. But we still have kids at RVT, and we have educators at RVT that deserve the same quality of atmosphere as any other school would.
Correct.
Again, I think we could.
Yeah,
address
just
this
revise it,
next
yeah,
meeting,
for next month.
Go back and look it over again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions or
I have
comments?
one question. How is our students doing online? I always ask this because I'm curious, as how they're actually doing all the work. The principals could give me a little update on that.
I think I have the most, if I'm not mistaken. It's a struggle because there's a lot of moving parts in terms of, there's a teacher for Edgenuity, and then Ms. Mendoza oversees, but she's not the teacher, right? And Edgenuity is responsible for doing certain things for the kids, but the issue is parents are considered learning coaches, and so they're supposed to be present there with the kid. That's an assumption that's made, right? And I think that I don't think parents fully understood what the mission of Edgenuity was when they signed up, or that's what I'm finding out now. And I think at the end of the day, while we did an excellent job during the actual shutdown of the schools, there was people-to-people contact, and there was a lot of contact on behalf of the teachers and the school to kids. On the Edgenuity, that's not necessarily the sense. So my students aren't faring as well as they probably should. But again, that's the responsibility on the Edgenuity side, right? And that's okay. We're gonna recover with them, but there's that struggle because there's a misunderstanding of how I think on the parents and how it would have worked originally. But at the end of the day, the schools are open and that's what they chose, right? I think the better option always was to have a face-to-face, no matter what. So,
And we're hoping they will come back in.
yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I can address that. I actually have 4 kids coming back probably after Thanksgiving break. They're struggling with the classes. It's not only the pace, but the rigor. If they're taking, the core classes, that's a good portion of the day. And so some of the comments from parents, a lot of the kids are doing well and they might have, A's all across the board. But if they're only at 15% of completing the course, and they should be at 50%, there's an issue there, right? So they're having trouble keeping up with the pace, the rigor. I think Dr. Amador had it right, just the investment by parents is not there. And I think possibly in talking to some of the people that are part of that maybe misled or maybe the parents misunderstood what the mission was of Edgenuity. So there is a struggle there. At my school, I do have some kids coming back. Just got done talking to 2 parents today, and so I'm at 4 to be back after Thanksgiving break, possibly 5. I'll know more tomorrow.
Cool.
That's good to hear.
And the only reason they can come back, elementary is different, because elementary does cost us almost $2,000 per student.
Right.
Secondary does not. So-
Dr. Lucas,
Yes.
is there any efforts that truancy can make in maybe outreaching to the parents and seeing about the possibility of their kids coming back next semester? Or is there any efforts going to be made to try to get those kids back into our district?
Yeah, we'll be in contact with them, telling them, because they'll have to let us know whether they want to continue or not. It'll be, each semester we'll have to go semester by semester, but our goal is to always get 100% back to class.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I did have another question if nobody else has more.
Go ahead.
Susie, one of the things that I had talked to Dr. Lucas about, and And I just want to make sure that we really look into this, especially for next semester, is the drug testing for athletics. I think we really dropped it. A lot of it probably was due to COVID. Some of it was due, to trying to find somebody. But I think it's really important that we find somebody and we continue this policy that we had agreed upon, and keep moving forward with it in making sure that our students, our athletes are getting drug tested.
They are being drug tested, and we do have a contract. I mean, there's not any outside, we have to go with the local.
Is that who you decided? I didn't know about this. I had asked like maybe last month. When did this start?
During football, the football's already done. Yeah, we've done, I think one test, we got it in. I mean, it was a little late, but we did get it in.
Melissa, didn't we just have this discussion not long ago?
I mean, we'd asked about it. I even told you, I believe, that we were gonna have.
Okay, well,
there were no other.
Okay, I'm glad it's been done though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Ryan and Irma for sending emails, keeping us updated on, what's going on County Square and everything else. And that's why I thank you guys for all the work you guys are doing.
Any other questions or comments regarding operations report? If none, building reports is next.
Okay. You start with RDP.
Dr. Lucas, President Cole, members of the board, thank you. So first and foremost, safety and security. So one of if you've noticed, our neighbor districts have gone virtual for a couple of days or a week or whatever. Safety and security is our priority. And I want to thank the nurse. And she's been on it. Sometimes it gets a little bit rough sometimes, but we understand the importance of keeping the kids in school. And I know some parents are upset about kids getting sent home and everything, but at the end of the day, we protect one student, we're protecting everybody on our campus. And so we've been very fortunate to keep most of our kids safe and on campus. And so that's going to allow us to continue to function moving forward, hopefully. We have 100% completion of our parent-teacher conferences. We have teacher leadership continuing. I'm meeting with the leadership team every morning this week. So we have a lot of irons in the fire at RDT. We started a new behavior system for the state. We're piloting MLSS, and we have piloted the Equity Council, which we're going to be moving forward. Those are a lot of moving parts. They require a lot of data collection and a lot of change to the practices that were going on at RDT. And so we're accountable on the MLSS and the Equity Council by continuously reporting to the state. So I'll tell you on our MLSS on number 6, the multi-layer student supports, we had ranked ourselves all ones when we started. We're probably a little bit of ones, but more 2s and 3s now, just because of the progress we made and the commitment that we have to the students in professional learning and development and X, Y, and Z. So I'm doing daily walkthroughs. Probably takes me about 2 hours to go through the whole school and get everybody in every day. When you walk in, you're seeing the behavior system up on the board. You're seeing it executed in the classrooms. Students are understanding and knowing their data and where they are. Everything they're doing in terms of themes is aligned with a Lexile level. So if they want to be a lawyer, they have to have a certain Lexile level. So we're having the kids to shoot for those goals. Yes, I know it's a little bit early to talk about college and career at kindergarten, but you know what? We eliminate a lot of stuff when the kids have an idea of what they want to do. And guess what? I know there was some parents were kind of interested as to why we started so early in kindergarten, but I never took the play away from the kids. We actually gave them 2 more recess. So they're still being able to be kindergartners, and they have a vision for where they're going to go in 12 more years. So that's very important for a community like ours. We did get a partnership with NASA. So our kids have been writing to NASA. We do have the 3rd grade classes that are getting books published about Lordsburg. And so they're submitting those as well. And I think, there's a lot of things going on. That's just in a nutshell. But on December, I think 10th, we have on December 10th, we have our PD, correct? And we'll be having an Equity Council and MLSS meeting. So I would encourage and invite the board to go so you can see the gravity of the undertaking that we piloted for the state. And Dr. Lucas knows about this, but it's a lot of work. it's not easy, so we're constantly combing through everything, but I would invite you guys, the whole board, to go so you could see the gravity of what's being undertaken by the teachers and how it's being delivered to the students.
I'm sorry, I was gonna ask a question, I don't want to cut you off. When is that?
I think it's December 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay.
You have a time?
It's gonna be, because I have to have an equity council meeting, that's brought down by the Yazi Martinez lawsuit. That has to happen, so all of this will take place between 8 and 12 o'clock.
Dr. A, could you send us a little memo, please?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Please. I'd
I'll send it to
appreciate
Dr. Lucas and
Thank you.
forward it to you guys.
And please continue to, I think we talked about it before, continue to invite us to anything that we can learn from.
Okay.
Yes.
I always say, Mr. M's the only one with education background here, so if we can learn, you know, we'll jump on it.
Just remember, we're piloting, so it's not, you know, but yeah, we're good, no problem.
Any questions that were answered? Thank you, Dr. Ordo.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Great.
Call members of the board, Superintendent Lucas. Just a couple of things that we're working on. One of the things I noticed, and I think this is due to the pandemic, the stress some of our teachers are going, and definitely the kids and the parents. You see that when you speak to them, especially the parents, you know, when you get them on the phone when they come in for a meeting, there's a lot going on within the community. So what I've been noticing and noticed a lot down the stretch here is just the, you know, the negativity sometimes that you have to deal with. And I don't know about you, Mr. Robinson, we get bombarded with that. You walk in the door and it's like, let me put my Teflon coat on so I can deflect some of that. So we see that quite a bit. And so I noticed that with that, just some of the referrals that were coming in. And he was pretty calm as we started, but you know, it just comes in kind of like cycles. So you get 2, 3, 4 within a short period of time. And so I was reading a lot, I do read a lot, and I was looking at just trying to be positive. And so I thought that, you know, that we would do something. So on Wednesdays, we're going to what we call the worthwhile Wednesday. And so if anything's worthwhile, it means that it's a value and it's important. And so we're trying to focus on positivity on Wednesdays. That means no complaining, no criticizing, no negativity. Originally, I wanted to call it no whining Wednesday, but I didn't come across positively. So it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile that we focus on that. And it came down to me, basically. You know, you come home and you vent, and then my wife says, "You're just so negative. Go outside." And so it does start with me. It does start with me, and just being positive and focusing on collaboration, cooperation, teamwork. And I have no problem with staff coming to me and you know, voicing their concerns, questions or not. But I always tell them, if you come talk to me, the door is open. But come with solution. Okay, I want to hear solutions because 2 heads are better than 1. And so we're trying to focus on that, focus on collaboration. And bottom line, in some of the training that I've been through, it's the idea that student behavior does not change until the adult behavior changes. So we are the role models in that building. If we're going to be in the negative, guess what? It trickles down to the kids, and that doesn't work. So we need to focus on being positive. We just focus on 1 day a week. If you start doing it consistently, then all of a sudden, you know, it does trickle down to kids. And so that's the whole idea. We have to have a starting point. It's easy to be negative, you know, and complain, and we all do it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm the worst one. Yeah, I need to focus for my staff. And so let's be positive. I always try to look at the positive in not only the kids, but staff. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes that's kind of hard to do, but there's always something there. And so you can focus on that and build on that. All of a sudden, this young man or this young lady that are really struggling, all of a sudden they start coming out of their shell and they start focusing on some of the things they do well. And all kids do that. So that's the idea behind that. We've started it. If you're negative, they call you on it and we put a quarter in the piggy bank. So I've already put about $20 into that. Yeah, I do have to be that role model, and so we're trying to promote that within the school. A couple of things that we're working on, just the professional development that we're also working on, just as the elementary school is, we're following up with that. We already presented our data to Texas Tech, but we're going to follow up with a live presentation, and we do it not only to Texas Tech, we're going to do it to our staff when they come back from spring break. So I will invite you to that. It'll be early in the morning, but that's the best time to do it, I'd say. And then just the assistance they're giving us, and not only the techniques and teaching instruction that we're going to get, the instructional data based on individual data and classroom data amongst the teachers. We're going to work on that, and so it's been invaluable to our staff. We're just turning it around. The good thing about it, we didn't have to reinvent, but we all know RBT started that, and we don't have to. That we share a lot. Dr. Amador and I share a lot about what's going on within our schools, and so that's been helpful to us. Right now, my leadership team is working on redoing the student ed staff handbook. We're redoing the whole thing and trying to tie in some of the discipline action, some of the things we do discipline-wise. That's why I was pleased when the thing came out through Parents Bureau about what parents thought about discipline. That's going to help us tremendously in trying to make sure that we address those things that are making our school maybe unsafe, or making it, trying to look at it to make it better in the long term. So being positive in that respect. Mr. Morales, you've been down that road, and discipline is probably the hardest thing you have to do. It's no fun. Yeah, you can do it in a positive way and make sure that the kids learn by making mistakes, but that they also get to keep their dignity and respect as they go through that. It's a perfect teaching tool. One thing that we're going to start doing, and I call it Doge Talks, and these gentlemen don't know yet, but both principals are going to come and talk to my 8th graders and also 5th graders. I haven't invited them yet, there's no time like the present. So some of the things we're going to talk about are core values, just some of the things, leadership core values, and some things that our kids need to hear that. And they need to hear it from people that do that every day. So I will be reaching out to people who are in the community. I actually have feelers out to some of the athletes at MSU. I do know the athletic director, and so we're talking also some of the athletes up at Western. Got to meet a few of them, so I think they're pretty positive role models for our kids. We send enough kids to Western, so maybe they can come and talk to us. Last but not least, just the things that are going on. We have a readathon on the 3rd that we're going to do. We did this before pandemic, and it worked pretty well. We're going to try to raise a little money through donations and pledges, but more than that, just promote reading. So we'll be reaching out to not only board members, but people within the community to come in and read. And then just one last thing, we'll promote on Wednesday. We're doing our spelling bee on Wednesday. So there'll be 12 kids that are in contention for that. So with that being said, I'll take any questions, any comments that you have.
I'm glad you guys are doing that readathon again. I remember going one year and reading to different classrooms.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's interesting, as they're an older age, but they still enjoy being read to.
Absolutely, they do. You sit down and read to them. It's mystery. You read all the time. I don't get to read what I want to read all the time. But they're just happy for me to put into the classroom and read to them.
And it's this Wednesday?
It's this Wednesday.
At what time is the spelling bee?
The spelling bee is Wednesday at 1.
Right.
And we plan on doing it in the library, but that might change. We might take it outside, to be honest, and put it in the courtyard. So we're thinking about that. We'll see how it goes.
And the parents are invited, right?
Public.
We have 12 kids, so I'm not gonna go past 2 people. I
Okay.
just don't know. If we put them in the library, we'll probably have to move it outside or put it in the gym. But yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions?
I really like Worthwhile Wednesday. I think you hit it on the head, the nail on the head.
Thank you.
I mean, leadership comes from us, and we need to change the narrative in this community, but there's no bigger need of a change probably in this community. I think. As far as the equity audit, I mean, just timeline. So you said after spring break, is that when you were thinking?
Right. They, my leadership team already turned that information over to Dr. Valle and the people at Texas Tech, but we want to redo it. We want to present it not only to them, again, live, but also to staff. And do it in the morning, probably in the library, and just do it through Google Meet and do it that way. That way we get some feedback to the professionals, and then we'll follow up with a couple of PLCs. And then they will present to us on the 10th as well. So Dr. Edward's doing that, and on my end, they'll be presenting, giving feedback to us as to our mission statement, just where we need to go and how we're going to get there. So it's pretty exciting, I'll tell you.
Same thing as Dr. Amado, to share with us as much as you can, invite us to as much as you can. It makes all the sense in the world to me that we have the same vision as you guys. If we're going different routes, it makes no sense at all. So I think we need to know what's going on and just learn from you and what you guys are doing in your plans.
Thank you. It'll be a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Mr.
You bet.
I got one more statement, Dr. Mr. A. Said-
I'm not a doctor yet, but I'm gonna work.
As you can see, I always highlight stuff that I like to say. And
So
I saw your highlights from orange, and mine is orange too. I wonder
Yes.
why it's orange, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Go figure.
I agree with what you just said about the Worthwhile Wednesday,
Yes, sir.
Mr. A. And I highlighted this, and I want to read it because I think it's important that everybody listens to this. The idea is that student behavior will not change until adult behavior changes. And I totally agree with you. Thank you for doing what you're doing, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Just to kind of feed off his positive, I can just let you know that we're going to have our first pack at Parent Advisory Committee this Wednesday. Reach out to the parents. We've got some parents that are excited about meeting, so we kind of involve parents within our schools, talk about different things, whether it's even with the Mr. Amzar talking about policies and things like that. It's good to get parent input about things and how things are going or things that they hear, so we can kind of improve in the school, with the student handbook and policies and things. And then just talking about being positive with our community. We had our harvest dance a couple weeks ago, I guess, and it was a pretty good turnout. I mean, it was outside at the North Park, and so I kind of enjoyed it there. I think the kids enjoyed it. It got a little chilly, so everybody dresses up in their nice dresses and things, and don't be no jackets. So got a little cold, but we have about 50 kids. And so, that, wasn't too bad, but I want to just, thank Jacob Cornelis, there with the Lordsburg City for allowing us to use it and to, cleaning it up for us and make sure it was nice. Also want to thank Ms. Clark, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Whitted. They helped us set up and take it down. So they were there before, they were there after. So I really appreciate their support there. Plus the, other parents, and also Mrs. Culberson and the leadership team that put this dance together and everything. Went pretty good, along with the Lordsburg Police Department. I asked them just to kind of cruise around. They came and actually kind of just hung out for the whole dance, and I don't think any of them danced, but we didn't have a lot of dancing going on, to be honest with you. And then also want to thank our DJ, which was Alex Estrada. I want to thank him for coming out and help us out with that. And then also, I know Coach is going to hit this too, but I want to just give a shout out too for the community and the city, the fire departments, the police department, and whoever else was involved with our send off for our high school football team. And then Tularosa was a big thing that morning. They, all came together, got something together, and sent our kids off with a positive, send off. Want to appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to one of our teachers, Miss Kwame. She had a condensed form of her thesis from an essay, that she had authored and was actually published in a journal. So, and the article can be found, here in that influence that I was kind of word for. So that's kind of cool. One of our teachers, actually, like she likes to just let students know that, you never just stop learning, just continue with education. Keep on working on things like that. We just sent out our progress reports for the second 9 weeks already, the second quarter, I mean, it's flying by. I want to stay positive, but, we're, still, we got kids that are still not taking advantage of the opportunities, our parents still aren't taking advantage of the opportunities that come in and talk with their teachers, meet with teachers, discuss what's going on, how's it going. So we're still working on that, we're still reaching out with emails, Parent Square does have a lot of phone calls, but we're still trying to find that mix of just making sure everybody understands this is what it's going to take to be successful, teachers are fair, and we'll just need kids to come and reach out, ask for help, parents to reach out and ask for help, so we're there, but it's all, everything's working in the right direction. I believe everybody is ready for this Thanksgiving break. It seems like everybody's kind of fried. Everybody's just frazzled. But get to these next 3 days and hopefully come back for that after that break. Get another little short stretch and then move to the Christmas. But kids are showing up every day and thank them for that. And teachers showing up every day. So that's what we can do is just try to keep on working and get better days. That's all I got.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Robertson?
Just can you, I know you're always emailing parents, I hate to add another one, but can you email us the link to Ms. Kwami's? We just get the papers, so.
Oh, yeah, sure. Email, sure.
That'd be awesome, thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Hey guys, worthwhile to mention, they said so funny, because I love it. We do, I think Burpee Thursday is the best one. We do Burpee on Thursdays, well, kids walk in, they got burpees. Athletics, I'll go pretty fast. I'll finish up volleyball, and football. Our volleyball, unfortunately, was in probably the toughest district in the state. We had 3 teams out of the 4 go to the state tournament. That's kind of amazing. And they still competed, and our girls are young, and I'm just really proud. I think Albert did a great job, and our girls, they fought in a lot of the games. A lot of their games were close. I don't know if you guys got to watch any. They lose games, but they're 20-25 or 25-27. It was just our girls fought hard. I'm really proud of them. And I'll talk AD and football coach. I don't know. I was so proud of our football team. Our kids went down to Thule and they played their tails off. I'm really proud of them. And but I got to say one thing. It's kind of different, and I put that on there, guys. And I didn't have this on there because this hadn't happened yet when I wrote this. But very proud of this, and I think that has a lot to say with our school, our community, everything is. Volleyball also and football, we got an award that Hannah gave out for 5 years in our district, and as the Sportsman's Award, and it just says a lot about our kids. If you ever go to our games, you'll see our kids. We don't go out and play because we hate a team or something like that. That's not who we are. We go out there because we love football, we love the competition, and our kids play like that. And every rep I've had all year, every business we go to, guys, you can't believe how many people commend me on our players and what great they are. And I was so proud to see that the volleyball did the same thing. They got the Sportsman Award too for our district, and I don't know, I'm pretty darn proud of that. I didn't even know they had such a thing, to be honest with you. And then they brought it back and they surprised me with it. It was pretty classy, and it was really classy when they bragged about our kids and our coaches. Yeah, the send off was unbelievable. I love our town. God, I love Lordsburg. you know, it was amazing. Kind of a last moment thing. The fire department, you know, our fire chief called, can we do this? I said, man, done. I put it on our running page and our athletic page day before. And we had people, my daughter's coming in from college, like, holy cow, what's going on? There's people lined up everywhere. It was unbelievable. I'm telling you, it was our love, the love of our community is amazing. And to say I think she said it earlier, the love of Mavericks. Yeah, it's our community loves our Mavericks. And it was pretty special. We even had the fire engines. I don't know if you guys seen that. We kept getting the phone out to take a picture because they had windows up. They had the water going across, we were going under. That was kind of cool. Anyway, I never had that done. So I really want to say thank you to our fire department and our officers too, our police officers. Grades, I didn't get a chance to really talk about this last time because we're still doing grades. But I was really proud of our 9 weeks grades. All our kids are in position to be eligible come semester. Now, there were a couple kids obviously that were always on their butt, but they all got them up high enough that I think they could pull it all off by semester. And that says a lot when you have that many athletes. So we're talking boys and girls and not just kids that play football, it's all athletes. And I'm really proud of that. And that goes off to Mr. Robertson too, because I don't know, I bet parents are sick of hearing his phone ringing on him. He calls a lot of parents and I was really, really proud of our grades and our kids, guys. Basketball, they're started today. Something was not on the schedule, bosses, I didn't even mention the bosses, but I think Saturday, our girls plan, so we'll come down, we'll do a little scrimmage Saturday, just to give you a heads up. If you guys want to come check that out, it'll be Saturday. I don't know the time yet, it just happened, as in coming down there, so anyway, I don't know if they're gonna do the boys theater yet, so we haven't decided on that. But after Thanksgiving week, we're full throttle. Tournament, our Fiesta tournament's the 2nd, so I don't think we'll have a board meeting until after that, so December 2nd, you guys cook a great dish. We do have a hospitality room, just saying, and they do a great job in the hospitality room, and I would like to, we have a couple teams that are coming that, I'd probably like to cook some hamburger stuff, if you guys want to help with that, I could always use an extra flipper. I'll probably get some restaurants, some of our local stores, maybe donate some food for some of the teams that are staying overnight. Because it was hard, guys, when I say hard to get teams to come, teams are canceling across the state in tournaments because of overnight trips. So it's hard to hustle teams, and I was sure proud of the teams that are coming into Lordsburg. So the first time with teams that have never come here, so pretty happy about that. But yeah, I think that's it. I can't announce all districts and stuff yet for our football anyway. I will soon. I haven't. But, you guys have any questions?
Just, I think it's awesome, the sportsmanship and whatever we do.
Thank you.
I was a student athlete, and I think looking back 10 years from when I graduated, with 8 years, I think that's the number one thing you take from high school sports is character, right?
That's right.
I think you guys are doing an excellent job on that. Just keep
Yes, I thank you, and it makes me tremendously proud of our kids. It's and the rest will tell you, guys, every game, it's amazing. Thank you for that. It is amazing. That says a lot for our kids and our community, our teachers, or everyone, our principal. I mean, it's all of us together. And I think when we all have the same mindset, we're raising our kids right. We're raising them right, for sure. So, and girls too, they got it too. So, yes. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
God bless.
And last comment, I want to thank all the gentlemen, starting with you, Mr. Dr. Lucas, and all our administrators. Ryan, thank you. While you mentioned Mr. Roberson calling people, he's good about that with you. I think he's getting sick of me going over there too. With my grandson, we're running crazy, but we're gonna get it done one way or another, guys. Again, thank you, all of you, for all your hard work.
Next item is truancy reports.
Right, and many thanks to the JJCS, they help fund this and they take referrals, like our kids that we start having issues with. It goes over to them and they try to get them in program and stuff, so I would like to thank them. And we're doing it a little differently. We had to rearrange some, so we have one person doing truancy at RVP, one at Central VPMS, and then one at high school. So the reports are a little different this year, or not this year, this month. So RVT had a total of 55 contacts for October. And then BTMS had a total of 84 contacts for the month. September was really high, but that was when she was still doing RVT as well as. But for this month, it's 84, and then high school was 35 parent contacts. I did not total up the total. It's broken down.
So who's doing this one?
So we have Tammy at RVT. That one, it looks like the DTMS Central is Patty Jo, and then Rosa is the high school.
I hate to put more work, but I mean, if we could get something like this, I honestly,
Well, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this different sites. I think a lot of them kind of missed Tommy's opportunity, but if I could sit down with Patty Jo and Rosa at your school, Mr. Rosa, just to learn a little bit of what these, they're a little bit difficult to read, these truancy rates.
So for basically each absence, after a certain number, the system generates a letter, they send a letter. So each letter counts as a contact. And then there's actual, after 10 absences, there are certain things that happen, and sometimes truancy charges have to be filed. So, but it progresses, but each letter, so the contacts are letters or phone call contacts.
But yeah, if we could start getting something like this from each,
Yeah.
because it lets us know August, September, October too, where we were at.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Good point.
Sure.
Thank you.
Wish we could fix that. Those numbers are still
Oh, yeah.
so high.
Yeah.
and It's a big disservice to the kids.
And that's not with COVID, right? And you're not counting that.
No, not as a
No,
truancy
okay,
contact.
I'm sorry.
Next item, public forum, which there is none for tonight. Next item is Board of Education issues.
Yes, just a reminder for the annual school board convention, Embassy Suites, December 2nd through 4th. Our hotel, we have rooms booked, but it's at the Holiday Inn. The Embassy Suites is 100% booked. They didn't have any rooms available, and we called as soon as we got the notice on this. But I think I have to get better and go look at the website beforehand when I know it's coming up, because I wait till I get the notice and then go to make reservations. But like I said, it was already full. It was 100% at capacity. So we're at the Holiday Inn on Manal.
Awesome. Well, I'm cool.
Okay, yeah, so I'll shoot y'all an email, and then we can reply back via email, and I'll forward it to Barb, to get you registered. If you need a school vehicle, we can get you an expedition or something. If you want to take a school vehicle, just let me know.
Next item is consent agenda. Item A, approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transactions. Any questions or comments regarding the transactions? I know I have one,
Okay,
and it was 27864.
that is to the company that surveyed Southside.
Oh, okay. I think that was all I had.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable and payroll liability transactions as presented.
So, Madam Chair.
Motion by Mr. Morello, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Barrera. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is approval of budget adjustment requests.
Right, we have a initial bar for $82,780, and that is for a grant we received from New Mexico Department of Health to help with on-site COVID testing done by the state. They're going to train us. We will be hiring a medical assistant to help administer the training, because that's, our nurses are so overwhelmed with everything now, you know, for us to do this. And so the grant will provide, you know, we can have help with it. We can get the test. There are several things we can do with it, but most of it's gonna probably go to salary. And I'll discuss it a little more down in the changes on D.
Okay.
Because this will help cover that.
Is there any questions or comments regarding the budget adjustment requests? I have a motion by Mrs. Esquivel. Can I get a second?
I'll second it, Madam Chair.
Seconded by Mr. Morelos. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next item, discussion items. Retirement of Jersey.
Right, I've spoken to the parents, they're very willing for us to retire the jersey. We discussed doing it at probably the opening football game, home football game. And Coach and I have talked about maybe getting 2 or 3 jerseys and having one up at the gym and then one to present to the parents. And then, did you want to put one in the field house or?
No, I think the gym would be the best.
The gym and-
No one's gonna field house.
Yeah.
But, we will definitely dig them out, guys.
Yeah.
Because
We should be able to find the original jerseys, his.
Yes. I think that'd be pretty special.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas, for doing that.
Yes, sir.
So do we need to make this an action item for our next agenda?
No,
we
it
can
doesn't.
Go
I
ahead
mean,
and just move forward with it?
yes.
Next item is superintendent evaluation form and date.
Right, so the form that I enclosed here is one we've been using since I've been here. And if that's okay, if you remember, we were supposed to have done it in January, but since we weren't meeting in person, we didn't want to do it via Zoom, so I don't know when you want to set a date.
And we could.
We can do it in December, we can do it in January.
Did we push it to February last time or no?
It can even go to February, yeah.
I would like to keep it in February, but I understand if, something comes up at that point, then we're kind of pushing it close to the deadline then maybe.
Right. I mean, there's no, I mean, it just says in policy that so by policy, it's supposed to be done in January, but we can always make adjustments to that. I'm supposed to get you the form in November and then I think in January, but we can do it in February. I don't have. a problem.
I just think for the new board members,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know a month doesn't give them any extra time, but it gets them a little bit more acclimated with the
Right.
process. I mean, that's my own.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I can live with that. One.
Okay.
To February if possible.
Okay, yeah, it's February board meeting. Okay,
Yeah, for the February meeting.
right, and so I guess in January, we'll do a reminder, just a discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
Next item is upcoming changes to quarantine procedures.
Right, so the state is having, because it's all across the state, you're having a lot of kids having to quarantine in this school. So they've come up with test to study. So once we are certified to test on site and we have our own quick test, we'll be getting PCR quick test and then the antigen quick test. So if a student is exposed, like say someone in the classroom tests positive for COVID, and so students are exposed, instead of quarantining that whole class, the students that are, if they're unvaccinated, can test, like so on day 1, the day after the exposure, we test them, and then on day 3 and on day 5, and if they have a negative test each of those days, they can remain in school. They do not have to go home. If they get a positive, then they have to quarantine, or if they develop symptoms, they have to quarantine, and the 10-day quarantine starts from the day they either get the positive or their symptoms start. I would like to add that we should test them at 10 days too, because that's supposed to be the incubation period, 10 days, but the state's only required day 1, 3, and 5. So I don't know if we can get all the tests, to do the extra day, but I would be more comfortable testing at day 10 as well, just to make sure.
Absolutely.
So we can add it on to what the state puts on.
I think so.
I think if you
Yeah.
look into that, I agree with you on that.
And then so that is what this grant is gonna help cover.
Right.
The grant is to the Department of Health, but Ted has come up with this test to stay. Now, if a person is exposed, say a student is exposed not from campus, like say they went to a restaurant or a party and exposed there, test to stay is not on the table. They have to quarantine for the 10 days. It's only if they're exposed at school, then we can test at school to get them. And that goes for unvaccinated teachers as well. Or unvaccinated adults, you know, so like we've had several on quarantine, you know, in the cafeteria. If we had a test to stay, we could have tested them until they, you know, either tested positive or negative, you know, but they could have stayed.
So when is this taking effect? Or is it-
Well, so once we got, so I've had to apply for a CLIA, clinical laboratory, I'm not sure what the whole acronym is, but anyway, we have to apply for a waiver because all labs have to be certified by the state. So I've applied for a waiver. As soon as we get approval on that, then the company that's handling this will come down and train us. The state would like it to be 1st of December, but I don't think, I mean, because I applied last week for the waiver and then I got sent back Friday because I did it as Lordsburg Municipal Schools and then listed each campus as multiple. They said, no, I can't do that. I have to list each campus individually. So I had to do 3 separate applications. So I resubmitted that today. So just however long it takes them to process that. And then when we get the training down and the materials in the test, but I would like to say at least by the first, you know, when we come back for the first semester.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. I mean, why disrupt any operations that we have right now?
Yes.
That should be fine.
And we have somebody already in mind to fill in this position? Or
Well, no, we
advertise?
posted it in-house because we have to do the 10 days. And then we'll go out if we don't have anybody, you know, in-house that.
Dr. Lucas, I did have a question related to COVID. Our surrounding counties, Luna County, Grant County, their schools are closing because of the uprise in numbers. Do we have a plan in place? Does the district have a plan in place in the event that, hopefully not, but just to be prepared that our cases in our schools were to be high?
Yes, sir. I mean, we have a plan. And I think we brought it to y'all, it's been several months at the beginning of the year. And we had to submit it to the Department of Health as well. And it's based on percentages. So there's no more like, used to be with four positives, like within 2 weeks, we had to close the school. But now it's just based on percentages. And so far we've managed to hold well on our percentages.
Okay, so no revisions have been made to that.
We can, you know, but ours is not to, it would be to basically close down for a couple of days to deep clean, sanitize, and then start back up.
Okay, thank you. Just making sure with no revisions have been made to the current policy.
Yes, no.
Any other questions regarding the upcoming changes to the quarantine procedures? Next item is action items. Item A, discussion and possible action on changing the December board meeting date.
Right, so our next board meeting is scheduled for December 20th, which is during the holiday. So there would be nobody here I would be here and y'all will be here, but there would be anybody else that we could have come in. You know, you'd consider moving it to either the Monday before, if you want to remain consistent on Mondays, or any day that week, you know, the 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th. You know, at your leisure. The easiest would probably just be to make it that Monday, so we at least remain consistent on the day of the week.
The 13th.
On the 13th.
How does everyone
That
feel?
works for me.
That works for me too.
Edgar?
Whatever you guys decide, I'll make it work.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. 13th sounds good to me.
Okay.
So can I get a motion to change the December board meeting date from December 20th to December 13th?
So move, Madam Chair.
Motion by Mr. Morelos, may I get a second?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Mrs. Esquivel. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion and possible action on incentive for staff that have been vaccinated or received booster shot after June 30th, 2021.
Right, and I would like to go back to just when they got vaccinated, but we cannot go back to the previous year. So, you know, we can use the grant money to pay incentives to staff. We cannot do it for students, but we can do it for staff that have either been vaccinated since the first of July 1 or later, or received their booster. So anybody that's got their shots or booster this school year could pay an incentive to. Hopefully, maybe that'll help somebody that's not vaccinated get vaccinated, or if it's been a while since they've had one, to get their booster. Anything just so they don't have, and again, with testing coming up, it's changing quarantine procedures, just, you know, for the safety and well-being of the staff. The state at one time was doing $100. I don't think we still are. I thought maybe $500 to make it worthwhile. Our attorney said that's probably too much. So maybe somewhere, yeah. So maybe somewhere in the middle, like $200 or $250 is what I was thinking for staff. 200 or 250. 250 is kind of right in the middle. But I
Dr.
mean,
Lucas, are they saying it's 500 is too much and we
Well,
shouldn't, or?
no, and there is actually no limit. They just said, and it was just her opinion, but when I talked to the actual people of the grant, they said there is no limit for, you know, the booster. But the attorney felt that could be a bit much and just, you know, public perception of that much. When
A
the
lot of
state-
employers in the surrounding area are doing 500. That's why I don't know why they would think that 500 is too much.
Consistent with the surrounding area. I mean, if they're, I don't know of other schools that are doing it, or, you know, but.
Well, if you can look into that, Dr. Lucas, look and let us
Sure.
know. I can do 500 if it's the surrounding areas are doing.
So it's gonna be a separate check, right?
Right.
So like bills come out, are you gonna do it like every week or? how-
No, that'd be a 1 lump sum.
One lump sum?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 lump sum.
Okay.
Mr. Morelos, and just to clarify, when I said surrounding area, I meant like employers in the surrounding area. I'm not sure about the other school districts, Dr. Lucas, but if you could look into that. But I support the 500.
Okay. Okay.
So do we want to go ahead and add this to next?
We can
month's
table
agenda?
this one and I can add it to the agenda next month.
Can I get a motion to table?
So move. Madam Chair.
Motion to table,
I'll second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Been here. With all the business of the Lordsburg Municipal School Board being taken care of, this meeting is adjourned at 7:22. Thank you everyone for coming and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.